Welcome back to Arise News Hour. I'm Charles Onyekulu in Abuja. The European Union has announced that Romania and Bulgaria can finally join the Schengen free travel area. EU states approved the move starting next year. Hungary's Interior Minister called it a historic moment of welcome. The Schengen zone allows the more than 400 million citizens of the EU's 29 member countries to travel and trade freely without internal border controls. Romanians and Bulgarians who joined the EU in 2007 have campaigned for years to be included.
The Schengen area, Romania will be a strong partner for Schengen. We will strengthen the Schengen area. Our border protections are among the first in Europe, and we are ready to continue as a loyal and solid partner of Schengen area. We worked very hard to be here in this moment, and we will continue to work with the Commission and with the Member States to consolidate our position. I strongly believe, that the Romanian citizens deserve this moment, and I hope that the decision of the Council will be positive.
We have been waiting for this moment for a long time. It should have happened a long time ago. We usually queue here for 2 days. There are problems at Vidin, the Romanian border, and at the Hungarian border as well. If there's no border check, that will save a lot of nerves, delays. A little while ago, I just found out that we are fully accepted in Schengen, and that makes me very happy.
Well, for his assessment, I'm joined now on the line from London by the European Affairs analyst, Dr. Marek Laskiewicz. Good to see you, Dr. Laskiewicz. So the EU Schengen group has today welcomed 2 new members, Romania and Bulgaria. What difference will this make?
It's a huge difference to Romania, Bulgaria. Not much so for the rest of Europe, but the rest of the EU. But for these 2 countries, it's very welcome and well overdue, I would say. So therefore, it's a good day for them from that point of view.
And as you mentioned, well overdue. I mean, they've wanted this for a long time. Why did it take so long? I mean, what do you reckon?
Oh, I think that, to be honest, there's almost a Europe A, Europe B, as the polls say. And the countries in Eastern Europe are treated differently. And they were treated with some suspicion as being let in. There could be problems with immigrants, problems with how many people want to cross. And the EU didn't want any of this. And so for that reason, they blocked it. That was the essential reason.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there was, as you said, opposition because of illegal migration through the 2 countries. I mean, there were a lot of illegal immigrants that were coming through the border, and they just didn't seem able to stop it.
Yes, the feeling was amongst Western Europeans that the Romanians and Bulgarians lacked the technology and quite possibly the willpower and the money in order to make it a secure frontier. This is a key point for the Europeans, that the borders should be secure everywhere. Obviously, if the borders are remotely weak in one place, then the fact the rest of it's strong is irrelevant. A chain, after all, is only as strong as its weakest link.
And moving EU citizens between most member states without the need for paperwork or passports has been a feature of the EU bloc for almost 40 years now. But the Schengen agreement that made that possible has faced a backlash recently, hasn't it? With a number of countries reimposing restrictions on border crossings because of their concerns about migration.
Absolutely correct. That is quite right. And to be honest, I expect them to carry on doing so and other countries to join in. That's the whole problem with the EU. It does promise a lot, but actually in practice, it doesn't deliver that much. For example, many of the standards used in engineering are not in fact the same in every country. And as you rightly point out, they keep still their various controls. So therefore, it is a very important day symbolically. It almost certainly has been made with a view to influencing the Romanian presidential election. But even so, for Romanian and Bulgarians, it is a good day.
Indeed, because, I mean, given what you were just saying about the number of countries reimposing restrictions within sort of Schengen this year, I mean, this is a big day for the EU as a whole, beyond sort of Bulgaria and Romania, because, I mean, Schengen is really central to the European project, isn't it?
It is an important aspect, yes. It is a central aspect, yes. But it's not actually, it is, of course, all about free movement of labor, which is, as you say, enshrined in the constitution. However, the real problem is that Bulgaria and Romania are relatively small countries. And so for the rest of Europe, as I said at the beginning, it's not that important. It's rather the principle has finally been upheld that all nations in the EU should indeed be able to move freely. But as you point out, just as equally, just a few seconds ago, it's not happening because other countries are reimposing. So in fact, the Schengen area will continue to be a mishmash for many years to come, because obviously the threat of immigration, let alone other problems about war and so on, will continue to occur.
But those restrictions that have actually been brought in, I mean, there have been restrictions, as you said, brought in by countries like Germany. They insist that those restrictions are temporary.
One of the problems with temporary things is they tend to last, I'm afraid. We'll yet to see. I would say that it's temporary. I see no signs of them wanting to raise them. I would like to point out that the far right throughout the whole of Europe is getting stronger, and the far right in each country certainly doesn't want to see restrictions lifted. So I assume the temporary is nothing more than lip service and will be around for some time. As I say, I do believe it was more to do with timing of the presidential elections than any real effect for the EU in the respect of movement of trade.
And I imagine that the people of Ukraine will be looking enviously at Romania and Bulgaria and wondering when it'll be their turn.
Yes, many people in Ukraine undoubtedly wish to be a part of the EU, and they would also like this. In fact, many of them already have crossed over into Romania and Poland, of course. And in the sense, when they were in Poland, they were able to move around. And likewise, now they'll be able to cross over to Romania and equally move around. So I don't think so much envious, so much as they will know that it is now more easy for them to move via Romania to the rest of the EU, and that this expansion means that the EU is also signaling to Ukraine that it's considering also to expand further eastwards, the very thing, of course, that Russia doesn't want.
On that note, I want to thank you very much indeed, Dr. Laskiewicz. I know you've got to dash off to one of your innumerable meetings, but thank you very much indeed for taking the time to try and make sense out of this for many of our viewers who may not quite grasp the concept of Schengen within the EU. Dr. Marek Laskiewicz is the European Affairs Analyst. He was talking to me on the line there from London.